With our last news story of the day, it is also taking place in the state of California here, where a San Francisco Bay Area school district has asked its student parents to house its teachers in response to California's affordable housing crisis across the state. In a nutshell, it is so expensive in the Bay Area in San Francisco that teachers can't afford to work and live there at the same time. They're literally not even getting paid anywhere near what they could to be living in that area. So now they're saying, in order for schools to function, you have to house the teachers because we can't pay them. The report comes after 7 teachers quit their jobs at the end of the academic year last year in June, compelling, I think it's Milpitas Unified School District officials to message parents last week asking them to fill an online form. The questionnaire asks if they have room for rent at your home and would like to share the housing opportunity with our educators. The survey also asked parents to share the number of rooms available in the residence and how much they would charge for rent. District officials said they have received dozens of responses within a few days. With 53 responses to our call for rooms for rent for district staff in such a short time, this is evidence that our entire team, which includes our teachers and classified support staff, is valued by the community members, the parents, and caregivers. This comes from the superintendent. A resolution unanimously approved by the school board members said during a meeting last month noted that the gap between those who can afford a home in the Bay Area and those who cannot is widening at an alarming rate. You're just going to have more teachers quit. You're going to have more government workers quit because it's so expensive to live in that area. And you can't blame the landlords for this. Look, if there's people that are willing to pay that rent, then you're going to allow the market to decide who can and can't pay that rent. And so if you have the locality's rent going up, the expenses and everything else is going up in the locality, then the salaries would have to adjust for that as well, but they don't want to adjust the salaries. I mean, we've been talking about this in the state of California, even though we're paid, at least one of the highest paid states here in the union, the United States, speaking of the union. And, it's not increasing. Actually, teachers are losing money due to inflation, even though they're giving us an increase in basically a raise of 1% to 3% every year, depending on your contract. You're still technically losing money because of inflation. And it's just not going with what even the locality or state or even the United States as a whole is going in terms of prices of goods and services are going up. And you're seeing that exponentially in some areas, speaking of San Francisco. Glassdoor reports that the average salary for that school district's teaching salary is around $66,000 per year, which is actually really decent when you compare it to other states. But the problem is, again, how expensive it is to live in that area. The Economic Policy Institute reports that 2014 to 2019, California educators earn 15.5% less than those outside of the profession who are also college educated, making it challenging to thrive in a California economy. California has the 4th largest rent in the country out of the 56 states and territories, according to rentdata.org, which states the fair market rent in California is about $2,300 for a 2-bedroom apartment in the Oakland, Fremont area. The city where the school district is in, which falls under the San Jose, Sun Valley, Santa Clara County area, has very high rents compared to the national average. Check this out. The website reports adding the area is more expensive than 99% of other fair market rent areas. So they're not even close to what everybody else is. A 2-bedroom apartment in the county averages out to nearly $3,000 per month. Quote, we lost out on some employees that we tried to recruit because once they see how much it costs to live here, they determine it's just not possible. Rather than increasing employee salaries, district officials blame the recent resignations on economic factors such as the increase of more than 25% in interest rates that have driven up the price of building a new home. With the price of rentals also rising, the district said it hopes to secure low-interest home loans for teachers with local agencies and gain support for developers coming to New City to build workforce housing. And this just shows you the disconnect. It really does show you the disconnect. It's been happening for quite some time. As a teacher, we do not get paid enough, folks. I'm just being quite frank. And I used to be on the other end of the aisle. Not like a Democrat end of the aisle, but other end of the idea that when I was an accountant, I used to think teachers got paid too much money. There's some teachers in California, some districts getting paid $120,000 plus benefits. So yes, they're getting paid well, those that have been in it for like 20 years. But for bottom tier, some of these teachers have degrees in mathematics, the STEM fields, like they're not idiots, right? I teach mathematics. We're not dumb. But, if you want to retain these teachers and actually have your kids still be educated, there has to be some conversation here. How can we increase the rates of teachers? I understand there's bad teachers out there. That's a conversation for another time. We don't have enough time on this episode to do it. But the salaries have to go up. And it's not just because of locality. It's just It just has to do with you're increasing classroom instruction. You're increasing the amount of students in the classroom. It's supposed to be 12 to 15 at most. And right now, I know for me, people have 32 plus students in the classroom. So we've doubled, but you haven't doubled the salary. You've doubled the workload. And I've always said, if you're going to approach somebody to ask for a promotion or ask for an incentive of getting paid more, well, if you're doubling my workload and I'm doing more work, meaning I'm more productive in that work, I should get paid more for doing that very work. But that hasn't worked that way. So that's just one example of many of what's going on. And what you're going to have is you're just going to have more teachers leaving those localities. You're going to have more teachers leaving those states. And you're just going to carve out these public school systems to where the teachers that are left there are going to have to take on more students. It's going to be way more than 34. You're going to be talking about 50 plus students. And at some point, you're just not going to have schools in general. And maybe that's what people want. But that's where things are going to go, where you just can't afford to live in those localities. It's not even worth being a teacher. If you have a STEM degree, you might as well just go work for a corporation because you're going to get paid anywhere from 15 to 20% more if you just switch over. And I know a lot of teachers, especially who I've worked with, have done that very thing of saying, hey, look, I'm a stats teacher. I might as well go maybe back into banking. I might go work for a data analyst company or whatever, highly marketable. I get paid probably 6 figures. I love being a teacher. I feel like it's my calling, but hey, I might just go switch over to a different career, get paid more money. Why not? So that's what you're going to see sooner or later. You might not agree with teachers getting paid more because, hey, you don't want to have a progressive left teacher getting paid 6 figures or 80,000 or whatever it may be. But you got to really just look at the good teachers and you got to focus on the good teachers because there's a lot more good teachers than bad teacher folks. And we need to help them out. We need to take care of them. And right now, you're going to have a carving out of a school district very soon here where you're just not going to find employees and your kids just aren't going to be educated. So I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.